So if we want to think about culture, you might think of it as all the human-created strategies for survival and reproduction. So in our culture, if you want to survive, we say you have to go get a job. Right? That is not a universal. Not every culture does that. In our culture, if we say, use an example that we looked at last time, in our culture we say to females, what do we expect you to do pretty much every day if you're a female? You're getting up and you're getting dressed, right? So I'm male, I get up, I get dressed, I run product through my hair, I'm out the door. Y'all are like, clearly that's all you do. Right? If I were female, is that all I would have to do?
No. You gotta do your hair.
Do your makeup.
You gotta put on my makeup.
Shower. You gotta put on perfume.
Yeah, put on lotion for perfume. Make sure your outfit matches.
Make sure your bra and door matches.
Yes. Make sure your purse matches your shoes. I'm sorry.
I know, wow, I feel bad. I'm surprised y'all were on time ever.
It just depends on where you want.
Yeah.
If you going to a really social event, your purse needs to match your shoes. Like going to class, no. But
Really?
my purse, well, I'm sorry, they do. My shoes are my purse.
No, I didn't realize the purses and shoes matched. I just thought they were sort of like...
I mean, most of them, they do match your tie. They kind of figure like you wouldn't have on all black and then like, you know, like if you have on all black, you can rock like a colored bag. If you have on like cream, you need to have like a brown bag. Don't have a black bag.
Would you make fun of someone who did that?
No.
Would you point and go?
No, I'm not that type of girl.
But there are people who will.
I know. This is going to be society's material culture. Where you're going. So it's going to be the products that exist in that society. So, and we can start seeing how material culture might influence non-material culture. And I think a cell phone is probably the perfect example of the way in which a material thing influences non-material. Back when I was a kid, we didn't have cell phones. We barely had phones. And so when you went on vacation, you would say to people, "We'll talk to you in a couple of weeks." Now, you go on vacation, right? You can still text people, you can still call them, you can send them pictures where you are, you can Facebook them. So that's the way in which material has changed non-material. I was around when email was really first getting popular. And it used to be you could do your whole weekend and not talk to someone. And now y'all send me emails and expect 3 minutes later on a Saturday night that I'm going to respond. I won't. Go ahead and tell you. So we have material culture, which are the products in the culture: cars, iPods, iPads, and so forth. We have the non-material: beliefs, values, norms. We're going to see examples of each one of these: beliefs, values, norms, symbols, language. These are all part of our culture. There are cultural symbols that all of us recognize. If you're married, there's a cultural symbol we all recognize. A wedding ring. That's a cultural symbol. We see you're wearing a wedding ring. We go, ah, all right. Values. There are certain things that each culture says we're going to promote, and there are certain things that each culture says are off limits. When you're raised in a culture, what we're going to see is people adopt their cultural norms roughly around the age they hit puberty. They start feeling that they know their culture's norms. So they'll understand what the culture tends to believe about situations, what the culture expects in situations, their culture's rhythms. And what's going to be really intriguing is that we just do this.
Unconscious?
No, not really unconsciously. Like, let's say with clothing or the handbag one, you might actually seek out information, right? You might go, what should I wear? You might Google, or you might ask your friends, what kind of party is this going to be? Or it may be deliberate training. Like did your mom ever sit you down and go, "Let me teach you to paint your nails"? My mom didn't. Right? Right. So it may not be subconsciously. I mean, sometimes it could be. And if I were to ask you, well, how do you know that's the right thing to do? You may not know. Like I'll give you one that I had a fight with one of my brothers. It's 9th grade. Some girl had asked me out to some dance, I don't remember, and he goes, "Are you going to pay?" Right? Because what's our cultural norm?
Men pay.
Men pay, that's right. Right? Except for I had a different norm that I got from Miss Miss Manners. I love Miss Manners. I read Miss Manners. Even as a kid, I was probably the only 9th grader who would get in an argument and go, Miss Manners says, and go get their copy of Miss Manners and go, right here. So I got an argument with them, so I'm like, well, actually the person who asks should pay. She paid for what it's worth.
Really?
Did you tell her that?
No, she, just when she was like, I'll pay for this. And I was like, all right, cool.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's probably why you're not.
My mom was
That's probably why I'm single. Oh, there are many
No, I said
reasons.
it's probably why y'all are not together.
That was in 9th grade. That's 25 years. It doesn't
It
matter.
was that one thing.
Oh.
I said not you.
Oh.
Girls look at the simple things.
We offer, but then we don't expect to actually.
Yeah, we
pay.
offer, but then we think it's like, no, I'm the man, honey. I'm gonna take care of this. You're like, look at him.
Don't pay.
He's great.
Yeah, he's awesome. I love him. Cool.
Oh man.
It's amazing we're not dating.
And then we're like, let's cuddle after that.
What?
Paying in society, that's like one of the cultural, like, adopted manners.
Yes, it is a culturally adopted one. But you see how like they're immediately on it. They're like the media that's
But
like.
because it's culturally accepted, we should have paid.
Miss Manners said.
My mom told me.
She should pay.
Stick out.
Yeah. No, I mean that's so. But our culture teaches this. But we're in a time of flux now. Like where women are reaching, thankfully, economic parity with men. No, this is great. This is awesome. But it does create problems where it's like, who's gonna do what? I'm like, you want to pay? That is. You're not emasculating me in any way. Yes, sir.
So is an individual limited to adopting one culture
No.
or
No. Like, in fact, you are probably going to shift. Even today, you're going to shift back and forth between cultures, because culture doesn't just mean American culture. It could be like if you're the member of a particular group, like a particular subgroup, like some friends who go to the Foreign Legions. Whenever they're at the Foreign Legion, they act that way. Or if you were to go to church this evening, it's like you're going to act in accordance with that set of rules and that circumstance.
I was thinking more along the immigrants who shift over to the U.S. and I mean when a culture clash happens, coming to a decision which cultures, norms, or manners would they apply?
I would say the research I've seen, what I suspect is wrong, is going to depend on what we're talking about.
Okay.
We're talking like what to eat with, or we're talking about, should you hold someone's hand in public? I suspect it's going to vary widely. But it's a good question. I mean, you can have multiple cultures interacting. So we're going to see that the culture is going to influence not only what you do, but what you plan to do, what you want to do, what you expect to do. Like our culture gives certain sets of expectations over the course of your life. To give one example, what y'all are doing right now. Right? Our culture says graduate high school and then go to college. And you go, well, why go to college? Why not? Well, no, you can get a job. Why not trade school? Like plumber or electrician. Those are great jobs. I mean, college is for something. But our culture has held it out to be college is the gateway to life. To a prosperous life, when it's really, in many cases, debt for your life. I'm so glad this is being recorded so people know what I feel about it. But you're right, it is debt for your life. No, don't edit it out, Steve. He ignores me when I say to edit things out. I'm like, take that out. You'll be watching it and go, take that out. I'm like, dude. I mean, why do I have you? He also has himself, now he's calling himself executive producer of them all. I'm like, all right, whatever.
You can tell him to edit that out.
I know. All right, so culture is going to influence your beliefs. Now, these beliefs are going to be conceptions about what you think is true and about how the world operates. So one major cultural belief we see in many, many contexts is the belief that the world is fair. Like, oh, I did something, like reciprocity, right, in that sense. That's like, do you also see that the world is fair? Like, say, for example, you did all the work for this class, and I said, you know what? I don't like you, and failed you. You would probably say to me,
It's not fair.
That's not fair, right? Because you believe that if you do the work, that my feelings for you shouldn't matter. So that's another way in which you think it should be fair. Or we're all standing in line for a concert. We're going to go see, I don't know what band, whoever. And you've been standing in line for a couple hours. And I know Jessica, she's in front of you. And I go, hey, can I get fronts? Then I'll give you fronts, right? You would go, did you ever do that in elementary school? Like, you let me in front of you, then I'll let you in front of me. So basically, I'm behind you now. But you can't just say, oh, you can get behind me.
We call it ice skating, and we just said, get behind me.
Why do you just say get behind me?
Because then the person behind you has been.
You're just allowing them to ruin it, but if you allow them in front of you first, and then they allow you, you can't do anything about that.
Yeah.
You're watching it happen. But if someone just happens to get in front of you, you can be like, hey, look.
I just get in front of all y'all.
That's not fair. So a common American belief is that anyone can be anything they want to be. Y'all believe this is true?
Yes.
Listen, I'll let y'all vote on this. So do you think anyone can be whatever they want to be? You want to be president? Knock yourself out. Do you think this is true? Wait a second. That's not what I want. Do you think this is an American belief? That's the question. You change your answer if that changes it. Do you think that as an American ideal, we hold out that anyone can be anything they want to be? A, yes, B, no, yeah.
This is a good question. I'll rank it.
Okay, what don't you like about this?
Well, I know it's really hard to get it as specific as you want it to be.
Well, specify
No,
it for me.
I don't know how to do it.
You just want to complain.
I'm just complaining. That's one way to say it, I guess.
No, if you can think of a more specific way to
No,
put
I
it.
can't think of a good way to put it.
Like,
Best
because
way.
you may not personally believe.
I think it's an American stereotype, not necessarily a belief shared in every American. But I didn't know how to make that a question. That's why I didn't want to bring it up.
So you think other cultures think that we believe that, but we really don't?
Right.
Because we're the land of the free,
I mean, I see what your peers think it's true.
Well, I'm glad. I want it to be true. But
No,
I'm
your
still
peers think it's true that
stereotype.
Americans believe that. Not that it's actually
Then you should
true.
ask us if we believe it.
All right. Do you?
Personally,
You know what? Actually, I'm not going to ask it that way.
Oh,
I'm going to introduce a new way. We haven't discussed this yet. We haven't discussed Likert scales yet.
You love Likert scales. You love Likert
Then
scales.
tell us what a Likert scale is.
Well, it's a range between one. Well, for us, it's going to be A through E.
Okay, so
Like
it's a range.
a range. And
So
then-
where I want to ask you what? So what am I going to do? On a scale of 1 to 5, that's what we're having here. It's a range. Like you could do 1 to 5, 1 to 7, 1 to 6. It doesn't really matter. But here's what I'm going to do, because I don't want y'all to have where y'all go in the middle. Right? So y'all only have 4 choices. Because